Hi kids and welcome to Art Time with Lori. It is class 4. I'm so excited. All right, let's jump in. Today we're going to be learning about the artist Claude Monet. We're also going to learn a little history on where oil-based paints came from. And today's art project is called Beach Sunset. Look at these amazing colors. They're beautiful and brilliant, and I love beach sunsets. How about you? All right, kids, I can't wait to get started on this, so why don't we start talking about Claude Monet? All right, kids, let's learn about Claude Monet. Now, early on, as a child, Claude Monet was already an artist. He would actually draw caricatures of his teachers at school. Now, if you're not sure what caricatures are, here is a picture of one of Claude Monet's caricatures. All right, so his father wanted Claude Monet to take over the family grocery business, but Claude Monet had something else planned. He wanted to become a professional artist. Now, his mother, who was a dancer, supported his artistic ambitions. So what did he do? He actually went to the school, Le Havre, which was a secondary art school. Now there he continued to draw caricatures, and he would actually use charcoal and draw caricatures to sell and support his art career. Now, he loved to travel the world, but it wasn't until he met his mentor, Edgar Boudin, who actually was one of the first landscape painters. He introduced to Claude Monet how to paint with oil paints. Now, when Claude Monet began his journey with oil paints, he fell in love with it and kind of transitioned from caricatures to oil paintings. When he started his journey, he received a lot of negative comments from art critics who really didn't enjoy or really understand his style of painting. So Claude Monet actually met some leading artists and became friends with Jean Renoir. He also became friends with Camille Pissarro and Edouard Manet, and they together formed the Society of Anonymous Painters, Sculptors, and Printmakers. They wanted to have the freedom to explore and find new styles of painting. They rebelled against the rules of classical art. And as a result, Monet refined his skills, he explored and perfected his rapid brushstrokes, and he also was able to perfect his capturing the light in different times of the days in all of his landscape art pieces. As Monet became more successful, he became more known, and he started selling his art pieces. So much that he actually created an impressionist exhibition in the United States in 1886. So now that we know a little bit about Claude Monet, let's get started and jump in and learn about the history of oil paints. All right, kids, let's get started and learn about oil paints. Now, no one really knows when oil paints began. However, it can be traced as far back as the 1500s, right around the Middle Ages. Now, there were scientists who found one of the oldest paintings in a cave in the country of Afghanistan. Now, scientists analyzed the paints and found that the pigments were made up of walnut oil and poppy seed oil. Now, today's paints have come from linseed oil. Now, back in the days, artists had to create their own oil-based paints and oftentimes would keep their ingredients a secret. There was one particular artist named Van Eyck who actually created a really quality oil-based paint. Now, he kept his ingredients a secret. He didn't want anyone to know. And it wasn't until he passed away in 1440 where the secret was out, artists could now use his ingredients and make advancement to make the oil-based paints more qualitative today. So we've learned some fun facts about Claude Monet, and we now learned a little bit of history of where oil-based paints came from. All right, kids, let's jump in and get started with our warm-up. All right, kids, let's make sure we have everything ready to get started with our warm-up. So what you're going to need is a water bottle to clean your brushes. You're going to need 4 sets of brushes. Now the types of brushes that we're gonna use today is the filbert brush, which is 3/4. We're going to use the angular brush, which is number 5/8. We're also going to use our beautiful round brush, number 4, and our linear brush, number 1. Now it's okay if you don't have all these brushes, and if you pick your own choices of brush to explore, that's quite all right. All right, kids, you're going to need your art mixed media book, and you're going to need some paints, and the colors that we're actually going to be using today is yellow, white, red, blue, and aquamarine. All right, kids, you also need a little towel or a paper towel to dry your brushes off. So the list of materials will be listed on the screen, and go ahead, get everything you need. I will be here waiting for you. All right, let's get started. So I'm gonna start with my filbert brush. Today we're gonna be focusing on creating streaks. And I just wanted to give you a nice range of how to use different sizes of brushes to create streaks, because we're gonna be incorporating some streaking techniques into our art project. So I'm gonna start off with some blue and a little mix of aquamarine. And I'm just gonna start painting back and forth. Now we're not gonna paint like the entire picture. Just pick a place you wanna start and just start doing some really fun brush strokes. Now if you notice, I'm not pushing my whole brush down. I'm just using the tip and I'm doing little streaks. So let's go ahead. See how nice that looks? Pretty awesome. We're gonna do like a sunset sort of feel to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some white, and as you can see, I'm playing with colors, playing with 3 different colors. We already know what blue and white does, right? It lightens things up. All right, so this is good. Doesn't have to be the entire page. So I'm gonna go ahead and rinse my brush really fast. Look at that pretty blue. Makes you want, it kind of looks like a fun drink to drink right now. Okay, now I'm placing that brush. I'm gonna get my angular brush, my number 5/8, and I am going to go ahead and get some yellow. I'm gonna get it, and I'm just gonna lightly, I'm not gonna do it flat, I'm gonna turn it to the angle, and I'm gonna start making lines, little streaks of lines. So if you think of a sunset, so let's pretend this is the sun right here. I'm gonna make a nice, this is actually a good brush to use when you're making a sun, because you can start at an angle and you just kind of fill it in. See how I did that? Pretty awesome, right? So I'm gonna do some streaks. See what it does? And I'm using the side of the brush, not the flat part. And you could just lightly do some streaks. See how pretty cool it looks? And it can give it a nice little texture. So I'm pretty happy with the way that looks. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean out my brush, press it hard at the bottom so the color cleans out. And dry it off, put it to the side. Now we're gonna grab our round brush, it's number 4, and we're gonna add some red. And all you really need to do is just add paint to the tip of the brush. And go ahead, do some streaks. Pretty neat, right? This is a really good warm-up for you to learn what your brushes can do. So that way when you're ready to do an art project, you'll have an idea. Oh, I'm going to use my round brush. I'm going to use my filbert brush. Or I'm going to use my number 1 linear brush. All right, so I'm kind of happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead, rinse it, and clean it up. Always clean out your brushes so they don't get hard or stiff with paint, and then your brushes get ruined, and we don't want that, right? So now the next paint color that I'm going to use is I'm going to get some white because I want it to stand out, and just the tip. Now I love using linear brushes when it comes to like details because it really does great things. So I just love the way this white is looking, and you can like blend it in if you want. All right, beautiful. So now that you know how to create some streaks, if you want to do a sunset or anything you want, we are done with our warm-up. Let's get started with our art project. Yay! Okay, kids, can't wait. All right, kids, before we get started on our art project, let's make sure we have everything we need to complete our beach sunset. So you're going to need your filbert brush. I like to call him Albert. It's a 3/4 number brush. You're also going to need your round number 10 brush. You're also going to need your angular 1/4 brush, small. And last but not least, one of my favorites, you're going to need the linear number 1 brush. And you're gonna need your mixed media art paper. If you wanna paint it on a canvas, that's quite all right. You're also going to need your paint palette. And these are all the colors we're gonna be using: primary blue, aquamarine, turquoise blue, neon green, neon pink, neon orange, neon yellow, some white, and a tiny bit of brown. It's important to have your water cup or a glass water bottle or a towel. And if you don't have a towel, paper towels are just fine. Now, if you notice, I have borders around my mixed media paper. I like to add borders, and I like to keep my art paper in place. So I add painter's tape. This is optional, you don't need this. So the list of materials will be on the screen. So go ahead, get everything you need to get prepared, and I'll be here waiting for you. All right, kids, now that you have everything ready, set to go, let's get started. Today, we are going to have fun creating a beautiful, bright colored, neon colored beach sunset. Okay, so grab your filbert brush, and we're going to start with the sky. So for the sky, we're going to mix a little bit of primary blue with white. So I'm gonna dip my brush, grab some white, bring it to the side, and kind of mix it together. All right, and so I want my sky to end right here, so I'm gonna make a line. Perfect. Now from here on up, I'm gonna paint it all blue, sky blue. So to create the color sky blue, what 2 colors do you need? There, we just did it right now. White and blue. So you notice how I got a nice glob and my color's starting to mix and blend. I'm a little white because I want it lighter. Always remember, when you add white to a pigment, a color, it lightens it up. So if you want a lighter green, just add a little white. If you want a lighter sky, add a little white paint. If you want pastel colors, you just add a little white. So I'm going to add blue, white, mix it up here. Just bring it here. And if you notice, I'm using my whole entire paintbrush. I'm really flattening it out and flipping it over. So doing like rapid brush strokes. Not as rapid though. All right, so I'm gonna get a little bit more blue, get a little white, and blend it in. Getting a lot of color because I got a lot of paint there and I'm dabbing it in, trying to get all the little areas. It's okay if it's not perfect. You want to try to fill it in as much as you can. We are going to be adding, you know, sunset colors, so it'll blend nicely. But for right now, I really want to make sure that the area of sky blue is fully painted on. So I'm going to finish here, kind of blend it in nice. Look at my beautiful sky blue. I'm pretty happy with it. Now I'm going to fill this area. So I'm going to flip over my paintbrush to the side. Mix it in. Here we go. Beautiful. All right, now that my sky is pretty done, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to get started with our ocean. So now that we have a beautiful sky blue sky, we're going to create our ocean. So my ocean, now what I need to do is make sure that I'm going to use a paintbrush right now and I'm going to make a line for the shore, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and make a line right there. So the shore is going to be this area. We are not going to paint any blue here, okay? From here, from the bottom to the top, it's going to be our ocean. So we're going to go ahead, dip our paintbrush on some turquoise blue, and just start right here. We can add a little bit of water so the color spreads out. And go ahead. So you see the two contrasting blues, right? Beautiful. We're going to later add some dark primary blue. But right now, I want to add turquoise. There we go. There we go. Covering it up. Now go ahead and dip your paintbrush into some regular blue and blend. Look at that gorgeous color. So remember for our warm-up how we created aquamarine and different shades of blue? That's kind of what we're doing today. Okay, so we're adding a little bit of blue onto our teal, turquoise. Yes, we're not using green today. Neon green though. All right, so I'm going to paint my brush a little bit and then spread the colors more so it glides on smoothly. Go ahead, grab some more turquoise. Now I'm going to add a little bit of aquamarine and blue. See how I did that? You can do the same thing on this side. Just so it evens out a little bit everywhere. All right. We're adding some aquamarine because as we get down to our line right here, we're going to make it lighter. Beautiful. Let's tap it in. There we go. Tap it in. I'm going to go ahead and just get aquamarine and blend it in. Look how nicely it blends in. Beautiful. Perfect. Now right here, we're just gonna just kind of tap it in, dab it a little, like sideways in an angular angular way, and just dab. All right, we're gonna get this part ready for like when the waves crash in, you get to see the bubbly whites. We're gonna get that prepared. So we're gonna leave that there, and we're just gonna add a little bit more aquamarine and just blend it in and just let it smooth out. We'll add textures once we're ready to, that's towards the end, so we can make it seem like the ocean's calm but moving just a little bit. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some blue, okay? Just the tip, and then add it right there, just to give it a nice clean lit line. All right, see that? And we'll add more details with our little number 1 pen, our linear paint brush. Okay. But that kind of clears out any little spotted dots we have here. And as you can see, I'm starting to kind of blend it in already. And then I'm going to bring it down, kind of in an angular form right here, diagonal, bringing down the color. See how I'm like gathering that paint? That's what I want to do, and then you just press it back. So I'm gathering the paint, the extra paint on there. See that? And then bringing it down. That's a cool technique that you can use. And then I'm adding more, okay? And so now what I'm going to do, because I want to lighten it up a little, I'm going to add some dots here. I'm going to go ahead and add some white and blend it in. See what happens when you blend it in? It's starting to lighten up, and I want it to lighten up. Because when you go to like a tropical beach where the oceans are, the beaches, the color of the beach is like clear. It's always where it's not as deep. It gets a lot clearer and lighter. So we'll just add a little lightness to it. Perfect. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna give our beach a break. We're gonna rinse our paintbrush, and then we're gonna use, I believe it's our number 10 brown brush, and we're gonna paint the sand. And we're gonna blend 2 colors. So what 2 colors, if you don't have a tan colored sand or light brown, what 2 colors would make that? A tan color, huh? Does anyone know? Well, if you don't know, I can tell you. Brown and white. So remember what I said before. I'll put my brush aside, but I might use it again. So when you want something lighter, you just add a little bit of brown. So I'm going to get our brown here, get some white, and mix it. Perfect. I have a nice little tan color that I need for the beach sand. Isn't that beautiful? I'm going to dip my paintbrush to some water, just the tip, and spread it and glide it. Actually, let's do the whole thing. There we go. Now it's the paint spreading out a little bit more. And what I want to do is kind of let it seep in a little right here. So what I mean by that, kind of want the water and the brown to blend in. So when the waves crash, you could, it seems like the ocean is overlapping the ocean waves are overlapping the sand. That's kind of the look I want to go for. So I'm going to go ahead and get some more of my white and brown and just spread it. Perfect. We're going to be adding some white right here, so it doesn't have to be like, oh, I missed a spot. Don't worry. All right, looks like I'm running low, so I need to get some white, mix it in with my brown. All right, there we go. Perfect. Get some water on my brush and spread it out. Beautiful. Look at that. Our beach is coming alive with beautiful, vibrant colors. So, and now that you're learning this, you can make your own beach. You could tell your friends and say, oh, I learned to make a beach sunset. Now I know how to make a beach in the sand and the waves and the ocean. I learned it with Art Time with Flurry. And now I'm an artist. Yes, you are. Every child is an artist. If you say, I'm not a child, all right, you're a kid. Every kid is an artist. Okay. So I want to make sure that I get every spot right here. So I'm going to make sure that I tap my brush and get every little area that does not have paint. At least at the bottom, we want to make sure that we get every area. This part right here doesn't matter because we're going to add some white. And we're adding nice texture. Okay. I think that's it. I think I need a little bit more. All right. My sand is perfect. Okay, now I'm going to dip my brush and just rinse it out, because now we're going to switch to another paintbrush. Let's go ahead and dry it off. Put it to the side because I know I'm going to use it. I'm going to grab my little angular brush, number 1/4. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add the sun. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, get our bright neon yellow, and find the midpoint. So let's see, this is where I want my sun to be. Okay, so if you notice, the angle of the paintbrush is right here. So I'm going to flip my brush over like that because I want it to be the opposite way. And I'm just going to draw half a circle, okay? So here we go. And then I can flip my brush over. See that? And then flip it back over. It's good practice to use both sides. Now I'm filling it in. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some more neon paint and fill in my sun. I moved it to the straight edge side because I really want to make sure, there we go, that it comes out nicely. There we go. Let's add a little bit more yellow. The sun is starting to set. Now there was some blue on it, that's okay. See how it blends in? Okay. Now we're going to add some more yellow, but we're going to add streaks of yellow, okay? Neon yellow. So go ahead and on your flat surface, add streaks. See how I'm adding streaks? So I want to get all the color, so I'm flattening out my brush. And if you notice, I'm just doing like flat streaks of yellow, right? Because there's always a hint of yellow of the sun, because the sun shines bright yellow. Okay, so now that I'm done with my streaks, I'm actually done with yellow streaks. We're gonna go ahead and start dipping our colors with orange, okay? You're gonna add streaks. And this is great when you have the bumps because it kind of gives it a cool look. Go ahead, get some pink. You can turn your brush to the narrow side. So here's the angle, and there's the narrow side. All right. And then you're gonna add some up there. Go ahead, get some more orange and kind of bring it down here. See how I did that? And we're gonna keep adding fun streaks. We're gonna blend. So this is just the beginning. So once we're done, I'm actually gonna use another paintbrush. I'm gonna go back to my number 10 round brush. And I'm gonna clean this little angle brush. So I don't think I'll be needing it anymore. Maybe later, so I'll put it down to the side where the filbert brush is at, right here. So I'm gonna go ahead, grab my round 10 brush, and I'm going to dip a little bit of water, just a little bit. And now what I'm gonna do is mix a little bit of blue and white together right here. There's a reason why I'm doing this. So, I got too much. Okay, that's perfect. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get some pink. Let's get adventurous and paint with the blue. See what happens? So we have a nice base of streaks. So now we're just kind of blending in. Perfect, I'm loving this. Get a little bit more blue. And then I'm gonna get a little bit more radical. Mix that with my neon orange and blend it in. Now it got a little dry, so I'm gonna just dip the tip and blend it. Perfect. I am loving the way this is looking. It's kind of blending into the sky more. Perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little neon green, right? Look at that. Pretty awesome, right? Let's get some more blue. See how I did that? Just kind of blend it in. They're all working cohesively together. Love it. Now I'm gonna get my little orange and add more streaks. Dip my brush. So right now I'm working on blending. With our linear line, we're gonna add like really clear, fun streaks, but this brush really helps to like blend in colors in such a way that it just works together and still gives you that nice little streak look, right? And like I said, we're gonna add some more fun streaks. I'm gonna add a little yellow. Add some here at the bottom. Because I really want the sunset to just stand out. Who loves going to the beach and watching the sunset? It's It's one of my favorite things to do. Makes me feel really peaceful and happy. And sometimes I like to see the sunset to help me think about things. Sometimes I'll take a book, sometimes I'll sing. Depends what the sun or the sunset inspires me to do. Okay. So I'm really liking how this is turning out. So we're not quite done yet. So I'm going to add a little more yellow because I really want the sun to stand out. There we go. Look how nice the colors are blending in together with the sun. Beautiful. So now what we're going to do, now what I want to do is make some more sky blue, get that ready, because now we're going to get ready to use our linear paintbrush. All right, so I got this ready. Now I'm going to rinse this off and put it aside because we're definitely going to use it again. This is going to be the final part of our sunset. So you're just going to dip it onto the pink and add a streak of wine. We already have our blended sunset, so now we're just going to add little details to make our sunset just stand out. So you're just going to make streaks of colors. See how it comes out? Beautiful. That's all we're going to do. Streaks. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It just could be lines. Blend them in. See that? Now I'm going to bring some pink here. Some orange. Mix some orange in there. Add yellow. And then we're going to add some blue. See what the blue does? Beautiful. Makes it stand out. So we're getting some more blue and adding the streaks. And look how great this blue just really brings out the colors in our sunset. So remember, we're not blending. We're just adding streaks. So I'm going to go ahead and get some more blue and then add it here. Let's get some yellow. There we go. Let's bring in some yellow there, some yellow here. So when we're done with that, we still have a little bit of paint. So we're going to get a little bit of pink, a little bit of neon yellow, and then we're going to add a little cast here, a little color. So it shows that the sun is, reflecting onto the ocean water, right? And it's just a little. Perfect. So we're going to use this brush later on. So we're just going to rinse it. I'm just going to put a little bit. Actually, not too much. Perfect. Now I'm going to go ahead and rinse it. And now we're going to grab our round 10 brush. And we're going to add some touches to the waves. Okay, so we're going to add some white. So let's go ahead. So this is where I want you guys to just see how I'm moving the paintbrush, kind of flatten on the tip and then squishing it kind of circular motion, squigglies, like doing little squiggly lines. That's what I need you to do. Then we're going to add a little bit of aquamarine and mix it in with the white. Okay, there we go. Get a little water. And now I'm like pushing against it and lightening it up a little. so it shows like clear water. Adding a little more white, wetting my paint, just the tip. See that? And so don't worry, we'll add some aquamarine here and some white just to kind of blend it over again, okay? See that? And then we'll add more white to the end. See how I'm doing that? Add a little turquoise at the end so it blends in, so it's not just aquamarine. Okay, so we're gonna add aquamarine to the ends. Wet the tip. Add a little bit of turquoise. Blend it in. But this time I'm using, quicker strokes of my brush. So you can see how the color changes very nicely. And it kind of blends in. All right, so I'm going to darken it a little here so it blends nice. Beautiful. All right, so now rinse it off. I'm going to go ahead and get more white. Just on the tip. Now I'm just going to dab. See that? Go ahead, dab your white. And then we're going to switch off to our linear one. But now I'm just giving it really good texture. All right, so I'm going to put my paintbrush aside. I'm going to go back to it, grab my linear #1 brush, and dab a little bit more. So it gets more specific details, more. See that? And you want to make sure that your whole brush is flat, kind of like duck feet. See how the waves crashing in to the end of the beach? Not to the end of the beach, but the beginning of the sand. Perfect. We are almost there. Now I'm going to lightly tap. Instead of putting it all the way down, I'm going to lightly tap on the tip. See? Here we go. You kids are learning so much. You're learning different ways to paint. You're learning how to create some summer fun beach art pieces. How cool. All right, so I am pretty happy with the way my waves look. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some little streaks like over the ocean. So it looks like it's coming. Too white, so I'm going to add a little aquamarine. Just little lines. And then what you can do, just the tip, add lines. This is the final touch to our beautiful ocean. You can add some dark blue, some white, gives it a nice look. If you notice, I'm doing it very lightly. A little bit of white, kind of go over it a little. All right, now I'm going to add a little teal here. Little turquoise. There we go. Voila, we have our beach sunset. So now what we're going to do is take off the tape and finish it off. You guys, this is so beautiful. I just love the beach. It's the best place ever. I love the mountain too, but there's just something about the ocean. Just calls to me. There we go. 2 more pieces and we are complete with our beautiful, colorful beach sunset. Okie dokie. Look, even my nails match the ocean. I hope that you had a wonderful time creating this beautiful masterpiece.
Sometimes we get a second chance. I know I got mine, and I'm gonna make it better this time around.
All right, kids, now that you've completed your art project, I can't wait to see it. So feel free to share it on our social media, Facebook or Instagram, and tag us at Art Time with Flory. Now, don't forget to ask your parents' permission. Now, for our next class, we're gonna do a review of all the artists that we have learned from class 1 to class 4. Now, I'm going to introduce to you a little bit of history on Impressionism. Now, for our art project for our next class, it is called Sail Away. All right, kids, I hope that you make every day an art day, and I can't wait to see you. Love you guys. Mwah. Bye.